Thank you. Chair recognizes Ms. McBath for 5 minutes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you so much to our witnesses today. I have read your testimonies. I am grateful that the majority has provided us this opportunity to highlight the great and very successful work that the ATF is doing to combat gun violence and also keep our communities safe. As most people in this room know, the ATF finally has a permanent director after almost 10 years without a leader at the helm of one of the most consequential agencies in the federal government. An agency tasked with keeping guns out of the hands of those who are in danger to themselves or their communities. An agency that partners day in and day out with our local and our state law enforcement agencies. And an agency that simply just helps stop crime before it happens. I know that there's been an effort in this room to criticize the ATF and the important work that they're doing. However, I think something that we can all agree upon is that we all want to save American lives. We all want to prevent violent crime, and we all want to keep our communities safe. And that is exactly the type of work that the ATF does day in and day out. And it's not just this side of the aisle that recognizes the importance of a supported ATF. When Director Dettelbach was nominated, the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association, which represents over 26,000 law enforcement professionals, issued a letter of support, as did the International Association of Chiefs of Police, the world's largest organization for police leaders, and the Women in Federal Law Enforcement Foundation. The public, law enforcement groups, and survivors, such as myself, know the difference that a supported ATF can make in our fight against gun violence. My questions are for you, Mr. Wilcox. The ATF recently issued a comprehensive report on gun trafficking for the first time in 20 years. Can you please speak to the importance of regular gun trafficking reports in our fight against gun violence, and how lawmakers such as ourselves sitting in this room, or some of us sitting in this room, can utilize such reports in crafting legislation?
Thank you for the question, Congresswoman, and your leadership. I think, as the director said in the opening, information is power, and this second volume of the gun trafficking report provides real information about where we should be focusing our attention. It taught us that there's been a 1,000% increase in the recovery of ghost guns in the past 5 years, a 500% increase in the recovery of machine gun conversion devices, and that guns are moving from gun dealers to crime scenes faster than they ever have before. These are concrete intervention points where we could focus resources to address the proliferation of ghost guns, machine gun conversion devices like auto sears that slip into a handgun and can be printed for quarters on the dollar from computer code, and cracking down on the gun trafficking channels. ATF has taken that information and converted it to action by going after rogue gun dealers like the one who was selling dozens of guns to individuals who were engaged in unlicensed, unlawful gun sales, cracking down on trafficking rings that are moving hundreds of guns from one state to the next. And so these are really the clues. But it's not the end of the story. There's volume 3 and 4 still to come. And the hardworking, brave men and women at ATF are going to continue to accumulate data, produce it, and hopefully lead us to the data-driven results and solutions we know we need, like the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act.
Well, thank you. Local and state law enforcement, they regularly work with the ATF in solving crimes and preventing them from happening again and again and again. Can you please describe the expertise and the resources that the ATF provides to our local and state police departments?
There really is no better partner to local and state law enforcement than ATF. They provide needed technology to assess ballistics, to trace crime guns, identify crime trafficking patterns, and help solve investigations. Just recently, they helped bust a fentanyl trafficking ring that also involved a gun trafficking element. So ATF is out in the world, they're out in the community doing the work, providing a force multiplier for local law enforcement who's seeking to address violent crime, illegal guns, and to keep our communities safe.
Well, thank you so very much for that. And honestly, I'm so grateful that we do have a director at this time, because right now we do seem to be making some headway, making some common sense decisions and keeping Americans safe. Thank you so much, and I yield back.